Welcome to Talking in Stations, a podcast about EVE Online. I'm your host, Matterall, with Noraus.
Good morning, everyone.
And Elise Randolph.
Hey, how's it going?
Going great. All right, we didn't have much to talk about this week until something unexpected happened. We'll talk about the battle in Detirod, where Fraternity and Test squared off with some faction titans in just a minute. We'll also cover the CSM summit and talk about some of the products or fruit of that summit. And that is the dev blogs that have been rolling out one after another this last week. It's been an avalanche of changes that are coming to EVE Online. And it looks like it's all going to happen right before the world tour happens, where CCP will travel to different countries and have minor fan fests all over the world, or the Western world at least. Well, Western and Australia. So let's get started by introducing you to the guests today. We'll start with the CSM guest that we'll talk to you a little bit later. How's it going, Killer Bee?
Hello.
And we also have Sutonio with us.
Hello.
All right. And today, as a special guest, a rare appearance by the leader of Fraternity, and that is Noraus.
Hi there. 大家好.
Hi. Welcome to Talking in Stations, Noraus. We met in Las Vegas. What a nice guy.
Yeah. It was a nice chat.
Yeah. You and Wind Spirits. That was great.
Uh-huh.
Well, cool. We know that the area that you are a part of down there in Detirod and Fatabalis is going to heat up soon, because right now you have what looks like a non-aggression pact with Test, and those are basically your rival and enemy, and that is going away in a few weeks. So we expect that whole area to heat up. And in the meantime, Russians have moved in and tried to start a new coalition to help Test, and I think it's pretty obvious they're helping Test. But why don't you tell us from your point of view, since you're Fraternity, the other side of this, what's going on there, and then we'll talk about the battle.
Yeah, because a lot of people were asking about what will happen in the south after 9 p.m. Here's my anticipation a little. You must have been hearing rumors of everyone on Pion, Winterco, and that for good fights. Totally, I don't personally see a war like the other legacy or Russian CEOs have rage been over for the last weeks. What I've seen will be a full-on invasion on us. You have this new Soviet Union, because Wind Spirit will be proud that he finally witnesses what he wanted always, a mini Russian war versus China war, right? And there's no shot of admitting their agenda, which is evicting the Winterco into John region. I personally flitter that XX and RA can actually make peace after decades, knowing the history, after decades of conflicting, just for us. But then you have the 2,000 strong legacy army with their supercap fleet on my doorstep, claiming they're only here defending a potential Panther riot. People accusing me for making this Cold War arm race and question my long-term goal. Like, are you gonna try to take back Immensity? Are you gonna invade Tenerife? I mean, like, come on. I have the second strongest supercap fleet, potentially supported by the strongest one in the game on my doorstep, and you don't allow me to raise my Great Wall? Because Eve doesn't believe in diplomacy without stakes, right? Or I would get wiped out over weeks pretty easily. So if there would be a war, it will be a total defensive one for us. You can't really be ready enough when the second strongest guy want to evict you. But so far we're making a lot of plans. We've got a comprehensive defensive pack at best. So hopefully it's gonna work. Otherwise, we're gonna end it up being homeless. Yeah.
Wow, so you very much see this as a threat.
True, definitely, because people been watching our MER and was like, Fraternity, what are you doing there? You're beating all those Titans and Supers mining a lot, and you're rapping a lot. Are you gonna evict us or whatever? Why would you have arms? Why would you have Titans in 2019? It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah. So we have noticed that on the monthly economic report that your areas that Fraternity live in have been very productive. You guys are harvesting quite a bit. And do you think that's part of the reason that you're going to be interfered with?
At least on paper, that's what Invictus CEO said. And I read the pins. It was like in their lines now. Fraternity has grown too fast. We have to put a check on that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be super interesting. By the way, Carneros, who speaks Chinese as well, feel free to ask a question in Chinese if you want.
Well, no, but that's a lot of pressure. That's motivation to form up in fleets. If you think your space is at risk and you're going to end up homeless, that's a lot of motivation to get in a fleet.
True.
That's great.
Yeah, and at least also if you have any questions for Noraus, just go ahead and ask. My big question is, what happened yesterday? We can transition over to this battle because there seems to be a lot of little skirmishes right now. But this was
yesterday was a mess. Was a lot of up and downs. So Lexi has been forming Goku fleets every single night towards our major industrial systems. And we ate up a lot of ships. We tried different tactics.
You said
from
ships.
Titans. Oh yeah, ships, totally.
Ate a lot of ships.
Yeah, we lost a lot of ships. From Titans, from Corms, even we tried to pipe bomb them. So in general, it's quite challenging because it has always been 200 taxi pilots versus our 50 to 90 Corms, depending on the time zones. But I believe our pilots have grown substantially amount of sense of what would the invasion be like after the NIP ends. So it was a good part. But last night they tackled the Knicks in the system FMH with Waffle's help, and so I called out Supers and Titans. FMH was a pretty safe system if you look carefully from the north, and if you look carefully from the invasion from Tenerife. However, I got kind of greedy and put my own YOLO Ragnarok Loki in 77S8 on the 460p regional gate. I was trying to boson them on their way out. So somebody got me decloaked and didn't notice until the Goku fleet warped to 77S8. And I tap back, was like, oh, there's a lot of pictures already on me. Then we start receiving task rage pins about caps and supers. I kind of realized I was screwed because, we are in no position. We have no chance winning a super cap blow. During the weekend on US time zone, there's no chance for that. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, I let the sign on your own fleet. So my rack let the sign on your own fleet. I wouldn't survive the TP volley anyway.
You're controlling too many.
I wouldn't survive, definitely. But it's a very unfortunate but unforgiving mistake. And a not so correct Erebus jumped in by accident before I die. So it seems like we're gonna feed 2 Titans and some Faxes at the night. So we tried to stall bubble their supercap fleet from Immensia to 460p. It was not quite successful, but it did buy us some time. And in the end, it split the supercap fleet into 3 groups. But we couldn't hold the grid for a solid, I would say, 10 minutes until our Eagle fleet arrived on grid. It was a pain for a time. Believe me, just watching me feeding 50 Faxes and the Narrabus without shooting back at all. Like, we're basically just eating DDs and DPS from the Titans and Supers without shooting back. So, and they were freely to gate it back into 460p without any harassment. So we couldn't control grid. When we finally could, with all the helps from Black Legion and Pandemic Horde actually arrived later with Jackdaws. There was only 2 Titans left in Detirod, 2 Tapi Titans left. Most of them are already in Tenerife, aligning to their fortress safely. So it was that moment I probably was the luckiest guy in the world maybe at the time. Somehow, when every Titan went through, only this Komodo left, and he pointed. We tried to get some more on the other side, but we fed 60-ish Victors and a dozen of Victors. Still couldn't hold them long enough on the other side before Memphis goes. So yeah, it was really lucky. It could go
they left
long.
They left you a present, didn't they?
Sort of, yeah. I would say that, yeah.
Because let me interrupt for a second. I believe, they were already posting on Reddit like what a victory it was. At least some of the stuff early on was, I don't know if it was coming from Test or from Waffles, but it was some stuff basically saying how you guys had been wiped again or something like that.
Yes.
And then this happens.
It did look like that. Well, this Komodo, he could have lived like if he didn't. I was very deceived, or he doomsdayed another round, maybe. Like if not all the stars were aligned and such, we would aid massive amount of morale. It's a massive hit. It will be a massive hit on morale, and we were kind of like lose 2 Titans 50 backs for nothing.
Yeah. So this got lucky. So they jumped out, but they accidentally left a Komodo, which is worth about five Titans, right? So Titans go for about 50 billion. This Komodo is worth about 250 billion.
Yeah, but it's just the first of its kind Faction Titan title, which is worth it.
Yeah.
300 bill isn't really worth it. I mean, I would.
That's the big deal.
Big deal, true. But it's really lucky. I'm still shaking from that part.
Tell me, what was it like when you noticed, hey, the Komodo's still here?
I was like, oh, we could tackle the levy, and people told me there's actually a Komodo. I was like, okay, I'll take it.
If you're looking at the screen, we have some video up of it actually getting doomsdays. And what's really cool is all the command comms are in Chinese.
True. The command comms was a mess. The command comms completely mess like usual. It was all like Hectors go through and Dress jumping into different signals and Supercat make sure you jump into the correct sign and all that.
That's great because a lot of times, like maybe a more inexperienced group or a different group would be like, oh, there's a Komodo, it's definitely bait, right? Let's just go for the levy, and they just let the Komodo slip through their fingers. But that's awesome that you guys were able to nab that one and just caught them sleeping. Like Eve pilots, the whole thing about Eve is no one ever plays the game perfectly, right? Especially in a fleet fight. You just want to force the other guy to make more mistakes. And that's a pretty big mistake that you forced them to make. I mean, you said that you guys made a few by letting us sign on the wrong fleet and stuff, but Komodo with no implants, just chilling is a pretty massive mistake. So that's great.
Yeah, I guess they didn't overthink it. That's
I mean, pretty much. Task have showed their hands. We knew how many secrets they formed, but they were, like I said, divided into 3 different groups. One was in the original gate, and the other part was in RU on the Keep Star, and the third one in 460 XX 4 Star. So they wouldn't have a chance to unite together. If they actually had a chance to unite together, they had more Titans than us. Totally. So I wouldn't take that fight if we don't have a Victor bubbling and all the segment in the field.
I thought it was pretty impressive how many Titans you guys formed up. You've grown so quickly. It's insane.
Oops. All right, I had to go. Super tackle. Had to go. Just another day.
Another day in the life of Fraternity. All right, Noraus, thanks for joining us.
Good luck.
Thanks so much.
Fly safe.
Later.
Wait, one more thing. Is it blue or is it red? Is it yours or theirs?
It's mine. Going to save it. Wish me luck. Bye.
Good luck. All right.
I hope you get another Komodo, dude.
Yeah. Could be psychological ops, but Noraus has to leave us to defend his Titan that just got tackled. So it looks like, and I believe he was killed in UALX fight. He was killed in this last Komodo kill, and now he's trapped again just now. So this guy has an endless amount of Titans because this will be his third one that gets lost if it's lost. So he had to leave us to go and make sure that didn't happen. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Never a boring moment on Talking in Stations.
Yeah, that whole thing is just hilarious. Like, so Waffles managed to catch like a Radix through a wormhole. Bat phone test for backup. They come in, and then just randomly this whole fight dovetails into losing a Komodo.
Yeah, what we know is the guy that owned the Komodo is a very wealthy player, so it's not like a big deal to him, but it is a big deal, and he even admitted so. So it's still kind of like well, actually, we have Killer B here, right? And I don't want to make much of the meme about like hide those faction battleships. Hide those faction titans. But what's the psychology of bringing a faction titan?